interpretation is to use topic-comment structure by putting the verb at the end and to use conditionals as much as I can.
So once upon a time there was a man named Jacob, and he was also called Israel by some people. And this man had 12 sons, one of whom he preferred over the rest of them. The son that he preferred over the rest of them, his name was Joseph, and Jacob decided to give Joseph a very colorful coat as a present. So once Jacob gave this coat to Joseph, the rest of Joseph's brothers got very jealous of the fact that Joseph was the favorite, so they ended up selling him as a slave. So, right before they sold him as a slave, they took his colorful coat and they tore it up and spilled goat's blood on it to show it to their father, and lied and said that he had been attacked and killed. So Joseph ended up working as a slave for a man named Potiphar, and while he was working, he ended up getting promotion after promotion because he was doing all of his work. Even though he was a slave, he was willing to work and had a good attitude. But Potiphar's wife was very interested in Joseph and tried to get him to sleep with her, and Joseph said no. So Potiphar's wife got very upset and threw Joseph onto the bed and ended up framing Joseph by telling her husband that he was trying to rape her. So Potiphar ended up throwing Joseph in prison, and while he was in prison, 2 other men were thrown into the prison cell. One was a baker who worked for Pharaoh, and the other was Pharaoh's butler, and both had been sent to prison by Pharaoh for not doing their jobs well enough. Both of the men that Pharaoh sent to prison, both of them had dreams, and Joseph helped them by interpreting those dreams for them and telling them what they meant. So eventually Pharaoh was having some odd dreams of his own, and he ended up hearing about Joseph's ability to interpret the dreams, so he let him out of jail to help him understand what his dreams meant. So Joseph interpreted his dream for him, and Pharaoh ended up putting Joseph as his second in command. At the time, there was sort of a famine in Egypt, and Joseph's brothers had to go to like Central Egypt, I guess, to get food, and they ended up asking Joseph for food, but they didn't recognize him. So eventually Joseph told them who he was and forgave them for selling him as a slave. And they all lived happily ever after. The end.